Om Sri Sai Ram. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha Pahi Mam. Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha Rakshamam. Sri Ganesha Pahi Mam. Jaya Ganesha Rakshamam. Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha Rakshamam. Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Sri Ganesha, Pahi Mam. Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Jaya Ganesha, Rakshama. Om Sri Sai Ram. So, to continue from our yesterday's talk, I got ready before 7 and I followed the crowd. This was my first chance to sit for an anticipated interview. Those days there was no token system, no music, no security issues, nothing. So everybody after Nagar Sankirtan, people will stop keeping their places. So I followed the crowd, but I got, with His grace, third row. Crowd was very less, but they used to allow very little space for devotees to sit. It was sand all around. No concrete flooring, nothing, nothing. And in the crowd, I found people were writing something and putting in cover or something like that. So I asked my person sitting next to me. He said, people are writing letters to give it to Swami. And if Swami takes that letter, it means that he has accepted our prayers. That is our belief. So I also borrowed one piece of paper from one person and a pen from another gentleman and a book to support from third person, and I started writing my first ever letter to God. And I wrote, I remember, my Divine Father, I know that you know everything. Very first sentence was self proclamation of my knowledge that God knows everything. And next, but yet, just to get the joy of talking to you, maybe even for 1 minute, I pray that you may please kindly grant me an interview. And in the end, as a postscript, I wrote, but there was little space left in that small piece of paper. Swami made me write this prayer, my first spiritual prayer, as if indicating the ultimate aim of my journey, the ultimate destination of my journey with this God. I wrote, Bhagwan, bless me to love all and serve all. I had read this quotation in one of his books. I am a born lover. I love to love and I love to serve as my natural instinct. But I did not know the depth of the meaning of this prayer. Love all, serve all. Now I know it with His grace. To love Him in all, to serve Him in all. And it is entire process of evolution and upliftment of our mind to higher level, then alone we can be able to actually love him in all, see him in all, and serve him in all, accept him in all, and respect him in all, knowing that all are in him and he is in all. This blossoming was yet to be done, but I put the seed in that small letter and I put it in my pocket and buttoned it, waiting for Swami to come. Swami came, he went around the lady's side, he came to gents' side, and he was just about, say, 100 feet away from me, just crossed the lady's side, coming towards the gents' side. When I tried to open the button and pick up my letter in my hand to be able to give him when he comes, I once again heard his clear voice. This time it was very clear. Putting my that little ego, he said, when you write that I know everything, then why this letter? Where is the need of giving me this letter? Now this was too much for me to digest. This God can respond to what I write in my letter and actually catch me on my ego, at the same time enlightening me of his omnipresence and omniscience. I found it to be very logical, and I immediately put back the letter in my pocket and buttoned it. I will not give this letter to Swami. He knows it, means he knows it. Swami came slowly, floating. Those days we could see actually Swami floating. His feet would not touch the ground. He crossed me. I just sat with my folded arms, looking at him with prayerful eyes. He went 2 steps ahead, turned back, looked at me, go. I understood because I saw before me he had called other people also, and everybody got up and went in the direction of his room. So I also got up and went and sat with the people whom he had selected. After finishing darshan, Swami came. He took everybody inside. He spoke to other people in the first room, then took me behind the curtain. Normally, it is not done. Swami normally would not give interview to any individual unless he is a staff or a VIP or a student or a known devotee. This was my first interview. Swami would call families, group, and then taking me in the very first interview behind the curtain, one to one. I think it was an exceptionally divine grace. And when he took me behind, he came so close to me that I could actually feel the touch of his hair on my cheeks. You can imagine the physical body as if merged into my body. But I was not feeling any touch of his body except the hair touching my cheeks. That too very softly, like a Snow drops falling on a leaf of flower in Kashmir. And his, then I knew, maybe now in retrospect, I feel it was his light divine body that actually merged into my body. There was no as if physical Satya Sai Baba. And his big thick hair and his red lips. Those days he used to eat pans, and he moved like this. The opening sentence, बहुत कोमल निर्मल हृदय, very soft compassionate heart. लेकिन बहुत कभी कभी डीप सोचता है. समटाइम्स यू थिंक वेरी डीपली, इसलिए हेडेक होता है. एंड दैट इज वाई यू गेट हेडेक्स. I said, yes, Swami, I do think very deeply on certain things, and sometimes I get terrible headache. आज के बाद तुम कुछ नहीं सोचेगा. From today, you will not think about anything. You will not worry about anything, he meant. सब स्वामी के चरणों में अर्पण कर दो. You leave everything at the feet of Swami. I will take care. And then he did like this, and this big chunk of white vibhuti, he put it with his own hands like this. From that day of 9th January 1975 till today, my dear brothers and sisters, I don't know what headache is. In 1 minute, he took me to another level. From dog mind, the journey started, the process began, the blossoming started of from dog mind to God mind, from being a street dog to a street lamb. Jai Sai Ram.